Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly is. So we are taking another trip down the Reddit rabbit hole with my stalker ex. Now I'm 26, living with my fiance in Utah, but for the previous 25 years, I lived in the middle of nowhere, North Louisiana. I'm an only child and was severely sheltered as a kid. Went to a super small school, 300 students, pre-K through 12th grade, and I was the outcast of the outcast. Not really sure why. Maybe it was because I was the goth kid that always drew creepy pictures in her little notebook and hung out with the kids who ended up going to juvie while in high school. I feel like if anyone actually got to know me, they would have seen that behind this small, shy girl was a fun girl who loved art, animals, and pretty much anything to do outside. Needless to say, I didn't date much before age 18. I had one loser boyfriend my sophomore year. He went to another school and was the cousin of my BFF from church. But pretty much, I had this terrible self image where I must be too ugly or weird for anyone to love me. I think there's somebody for everybody, by the way. During my senior year of high school, I had my own car, so I would go see the few friends I did have. The main one being my BFF from church. She had an older brother, I'll call him B, who I knew had a crush on me for several years. Being sheltered and thinking that no one would ever love a funny looking dork like me, I finally fell hard in love with this guy. Now, B and his family were originally from South Arkansas. Cue the banjos. They were hardworking people, but needless to say, they were pretty hillbilly. Not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. My own family was glorified rednecks themselves. But B's plan for me was to get married to him, move into a trailer house behind his parents, and be a stay at home mom. This is not at all what I wanted, but at the time I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I had a small scholarship to a good university, so I knew I had it in me to pursue a career. But as far as finding a husband, I thought B was the best I would ever do. What's wrong with B? He seemed to love me, take care of me, and I even lost my virginity to him. Now that I've painted this lovely picture, I'll get on to the stalking. Okay. After about a year of college, I finally became pretty. I started doing my makeup better, actually doing something with my hair, and my body finally started looking like a woman instead of an 8-year-old boy. I wasn't the only one who noticed. Boys were actually taking interest in me for the first time, and I ate it up. Of course, I wasn't going to cheat on B, but after a while, he began to change. He didn't like me talking to other boys, didn't like not knowing where I was at all hours of the day and night. I couldn't hang out with my new friends without him, and he just became super overbearing. Finally, I'd had enough, and I broke up with him one night via phone call. The whole conversation was me saying it's over and him apologizing and crying about how much he loved me and didn't want me to leave him. Finally, I just hung up on him and went to bed. He tried to call me back all night, but I didn't answer. The next day, I went to school like normally, but as a free woman. I was in psychology class talking to my guy friend and told him about the breakup. Then I started getting texts from B. I'm coming to your school. I just want to talk in person about this. I should note that he wrecked his truck a few weeks earlier, so I knew there was no way for him to drive the 40 minutes to my school. Also, he had never even been to this university, so there's no way on earth he would know where to find me. I just shrugged off B's text and turned off my phone for class. After class, I turned my phone back on and it started blowing up with texts from B. I'm on my way. I'm here. Where are you? I found the building. What classroom are you in? I'm waiting outside your classroom. Come out here and talk to me. Class is over. I see all the students leaving. Where are you? Where are you? I'm waiting. I know you're here. Come out and talk to me. Yes, class was over and all of the other students were leaving, but I couldn't move. I was just standing there staring at my phone with my guy friend as these texts popped up one by one. My friend asked me if I wanted him to walk out with me. I said yes, but I knew there wasn't anything he could do. B was over 6 foot and about 80% muscle, and my friend was about 5'4" and a little on the chubby side. But we walked out together, and sure enough, there stood B, just standing there in the hall in front of the door. My friend asked if I wanted him to stay, but I said no because I thought I could handle B on my own. I won't lie, I was a little freaked out. I knew he would never hurt me, especially on a college campus surrounded by people. B and I went to get lunch and talk. I asked him how on earth did he find me. This is his story. He said that he hitchhiked to my school. When he got to campus, he stopped a student and asked if they knew me. The student said, "Yeah, I know her. She's probably in psychology class," and pointed out the building. He went in and asked the secretary if she could pull up my schedule and tell him when I would be getting out of class. She did and told him what classroom I was in, and that class would be getting out shortly. I don't believe a single bit of that story. Okay, good. I don't either, because I went to college. Number one, this was 2012. No one picks up hitchhikers, not even in the South. Number two, my university wasn't the biggest, but still big enough that you didn't know everyone. Number three, I was an art major. There's no way the secretary of the psychology building would have access to my schedule or any student's schedule for that matter. To this day, I still don't know how he found me. My mom thinks he bugged my phone. I didn't know he was smart enough to do such a thing. When I got home, I told my mom what had happened. She freaked out and took me to get a new phone number the next day. Since B's sister was my BFF, it wasn't hard for him to get my new number, though. Like I said, I was a dumb girl who thought I couldn't do better, so I ended up taking him back for a few more months. But I finally came to my senses and dumped him for good. After that, my parents started noticing an old pickup truck that would drive by our house real slow, turn around in the neighbor's driveway, then drive real slow back by our house. Later, I found out that he moved to Arkansas with his parents, and I didn't hear from him for several years. In about 2017, I got word that he had moved back to Louisiana, and he started trying to add me on all my social media accounts. I told his sister that I didn't want to see or hear from him. Would she please tell him to stop messaging me? She told me that the reason he was hitting me up was because since he was back, he was just trying to get in touch with people he knew, and that I was overreacting. Maybe I was overreacting, but still. I did feel a little safer since I moved out of my parents' house, but I know he still knows where their house is. I'm sure my dad would run him off, though, like a good Southern dad. Thankfully, this experience helped me to realize that I am worth someone better. I live in Utah now with my wonderful fiance who only wants the best for me. So, this girl actually writes a part two, which I think is a different person. So, we're going to part two. I've already written about my first stalker encounter. Pretty much, I was a sheltered girl with a terrible self-image. I dated a guy who ended up stalking me after I tried to break up with him. After that, I started realizing that I am in fact attractive and deserve better. But I was a wild child and preferred to hang out with the bad boys. Therefore, I dated a few more absolute losers before finding my now fiance. One of these exes was a guy I'll call M. M was a cousin to my best friend from high school. I wonder if it's the brother of the best friend. And he lived 5 hours away in New Orleans. He was a cook at an Irish restaurant. During my week-long breaks from college, I would go down to New Orleans to visit him. Like any other relationship, it started out great. He was nice, caring, funny, a nerd, etc. He would come up to see me every once in a while, but mostly I would go down to see him. Long distance relationships aren't easy, and I understand that it's very easy to cheat and the other person have no clue. I, however, never cheated on M, but for some reason he began to get it in his head that I did. Towards the end of our relationship, I could predict every day like clockwork. I would wake up to a text from M saying good morning. I would go to school and then work. All during the day, M would be as nice as could be. Of course, I did have to tell him where I was and what I was doing throughout the day. At first, I was thinking he would ask these questions because he didn't want to disturb me while I was in class or work. But then he would text me during class asking, are you really in class or are you with someone? I would assure him that I was in fact in class or at work, and he would go back to being his funny, happy self. But at the end of the day, he would get off work and his personality would do a 180. I started to regret nighttime because I knew what was coming. He would take the streetcar home after work every day. He wouldn't get home till 2 a.m., and when he did, he would unload with questions about my day. What did you do today? Are you sure that's all you did? Because it's the same thing you did yesterday. Are you sure you're not cheating on me? I think you're lying. Tell me who you're with today. Who is he? I have some buddies who go to your school. I'll just have to get them to keep an eye on you. After several hours of me trying to convince him that I'm not cheating on him, he would do another 180. I'm sorry, baby. I believe you. It's just all this stress I'm under at work. And with you so far away, I can't help but think that you might be with someone else. I'm sorry, baby. Please forgive me. I just want to talk before bed. By this time, it's 3 or 4 in the morning, and I have to wake up at 6:30 to get to my 8 a.m. class. Needless to say, that got old real quick. I started telling him that I'm not fighting anymore at bedtime and that I need my freaking sleep. This made him even more suspicious, of course. One day when my class was over, I was talking with one of my male classmates about an upcoming project. Oh God. We walked to the parking lot together and was just talking at his car. It started to rain, so we sat in his car to continue our conversation. Absolutely nothing happened. We just talked about an art project. Then suddenly I got a call from M. I answered and he asked me what the hell I was doing in the car with that guy. Now remember, he's 5 hours away. I asked him, how the heck does he know this? He said, turn around and look out the back. Do you see that guy on the hill? That's my friend. He gets out of class the same time you do and watches to make sure you go to your car. What the fuck? I told M to describe the car since at first I didn't believe him. He described the car to a T, all the way to the stickers on the bumper. I looked, and sure enough, there was a guy standing on the hill looking at the car with a cell phone. I tried to assure M that this was just a friend to whom I had no interest in whatsoever. He wouldn't stop till I left and got in my car and drove away. He then told me to never do that again, and if I did, he would know. Freaked out on him. I had sort of learned from my other stalking experience and told M that he better stop stalking me or I was going to break up with him. He sensed that I was serious and said he would stop. He said he was doing it for my protection since he couldn't be here to protect me himself. Things got a little better after that, but in no time they were right back to the same old, same old. I broke up with M after only 6 months of dating. One night after we broke up, I was hanging out with my best friend M's cousin. She started apologizing about M's behavior. Apparently, he was on a drug for years and in and out of jail. I had no idea. When I was in New Orleans visiting, he would be the best, no fighting or anything. I guess he was clean while I was there and druggy when I wasn't. I still don't know. My friend then tells me that no one in her family really liked him, and the only reason she allowed me to date him was because she thought I might be able to change him for the better. Obviously, I couldn't. After M, I fell into a series of other losers, but no more stalkers. To this day, I'm very independent and I can't stand my actions questioned, especially when I'm not doing anything wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal behavior. And if you're in a relationship like this, get out. It would only make you miserable and crazy. That's not love, it's possession. Amen, sister. And I'm incredibly happy everything worked out for you and that you seem to have a really great guy now. Wow. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to. And until next time, stay safe out there.